Okay, first impressions on Mass Effect. I'm about, I don't know. Technically, I'm like three hours in. I found the Nexus, and now I'm on the first world, and I'm doing all the missions I have to on the first world. But technically, I'm at like 8 hours in because I spent so many hours trying to make a good looking character, and I deleted a bunch of them once I found out that they look like crap in game. Because that's a big thing with me. Like I've said before, if I can't like, I love designing my own character, and I like making the character mine. And if it doesn't look good, then whatever. And I know, everyone's saying that the character models for Mass Effect sucks, for the new Mass Effect sucks, and everything else like that. But I bought it like the day after that, like patch 1.05 or something came out. And everyone was saying, yeah, you know what, this is a step in the right direction. And I saw the contrast of like the animations and stuff like that, and I was like, good, okay, because I'm playing Mass Effect not just for the RPG elements, but also because I freaking love the Mass Effect story. I love the original trilogy. I also didn't hate the ending of Mass Effect 3 like everyone else did. I didn't think it was terribly lackluster. I liked pretty much all three options. Whatever. I didn't talk about it. So I'm three, and so far, it's. I mean, it's definitely not as good a start as any of the other ones. I think the third one, strangely enough, I think the third one had the coolest start because at that point everyone knows that Shepard is like talking about the Reapers, and he's like, everyone thinks he's crazy, and the opening thing is he's back in like on Earth, and then the Reapers come down, and the whole time you're really stressed out and remembering that opening scene. Mass Effect 1 was okay with Saren and all that, whatever. Nihilus died. Mass Effect 2 was pretty freaking good with the collector ship destroying. That was actually the first one I ever played. I didn't play the first one before I played the second one, and I went back and played the first one. So that one was good with the collector ship and dying and rebirth of servers. Anyway, but this one, it was pretty slow starting, but I actually don't mind it. I think it's pretty cool. I like the idea of coming to a brand new galaxy and needing to find a new home, and things kind of hit the fan really quickly, like right when you arrive. And I remember like excited because it's been like 5 years since the last one, so you kind of feel distant from the other trilogy anyway, which what this game is kind of trying to break away from that trilogy. I mean, this is a totally other galaxy 600 years after whatever happened at the end of Mass Effect 3, which is, pretty bold, but also, I mean, that's cool because then they're not restricted to the third game, which a lot of people say is not awesome. So that's cool. I've actually and was anxious to get started because I really want to see all the other where the Turian and the Asari and the Solarian arcs are. That's really cool to think that the humans, the Solarians, and the whatever, and they all got together and were like, yeah, we're gonna do this cool initiative, and we're all gonna go, and we have this plan. I like how this plan was all thought, and they don't. I don't know. I kind of like how they're not super pushing stuff down your throat. You just kind of have to like know things about Mass Effects to really kind of catch up right away, which is a really really awesome. Quick note: there's a ton of female characters in this. There's like a way more females than there are males, and I don't have a problem with it because I've said before, like on record, I love playing as a female, and I think female characters are cooler. But I'm not like a whatever feminist chick. I think that like if just a picture like in the For Honor trailer. Remember in the original For Honor trailer, you had that Viking come and he was drinking the water, and then the samurai came or whatever, and then you see that sword drop down and the knight comes down. That was definitely the coolest entrance. And then if you just imagine that she took off her mask and they're like, oh, it's a chick, and she's doing that, they just like feel this like coolness in your heart or whatever. And I kind of take that with me. I always am like only ever playing female characters. Like I said, if I would enjoy The Witcher 3 more if I could just play as Ciri the whole time. So I like playing as female characters, but these female characters kind of seem uninspired. I like Natalie Dormer's Asari chick. She's pretty cool. But and I kind of like my Sarah Ryder, but she's not a shepherd. She's not like the female shepherd or like any shepherd. You could pick male or female with shepherd. She kind of feels not as cool. Not, I don't know, not as driven. She kind of seems like she doesn't want to be there. And then you have Korra, and there's no development on her. Like, as far as I'm in, this is just a initial first reactions to it. There's nothing really to her. She doesn't look very good. I wish she was. I mean, even Ashley in Mass Effect 1 looks better than Korra does, and they've had 10 years. I just met PB. She seems a little too eccentric. I feel like instead of writing good characters, they're just going to make these characters eccentric, which is not that fair to say because BioWare is really good at making characters. So we'll see. But so far, I've only talked to PB a little bit, and I'm like, oh, she's okay. I could write this character. She kind of like has her belly button out. She has like the pain, whatever, and she's like a rehash of like Sarah from Dragon Age Inquisition. And that's just kind of the feeling that I'm getting from her. I got really, speaking of I got in the game, you're allowed to go into your dad's thing. Oh, I found my first Garrus reference. They didn't say Garrus or anything, but one of the black Irish cop guy, who I actually like, by the way. Usually I don't like the male counterpart in BioWare games, or just like, how like in BioWare games, they'll always stick you with a female and a male. Like in Coder, the first one, it was Karth and Bastila, and then in the second one, it was Atten and Kreia, and then in Dragon Age, it was Morrigan and Alistair, and Dragon Age 2, it was Varric and I forget. I was going on a roll with these BioWare games. And then Dragon Age Inquisition, it was... it's been a while since I played that one. Was it also Varric? Yeah, it was Varric, Cassandra, and the other guy, the weird mage guy. And then in this one, they're doing, you get in Mass Effect, you had what's her name, say it, Miranda and Jacob in the second one, and Ashley and Caden, or whatever his name was in the first one. So yeah, the formula, pretty familiar with it already. So I wasn't expecting a lot from this male female initial people. You're just like biding your time until you get the Turian and the Krogan, and then just go with them the rest of the time, right? But I kind of like the black cop guy. And, I mean, in all these games, I don't like the male version ever, especially not Karth. I freaking hated Karth in the original Coder. But I like her way more than Korra. And he's kind of funny, and he's kind of trigger-happy, but not in a way that's, like, old. You know how, like, if you, like, had that kind of character, you're like, oh, he's the quick-to-anger, whatever guy. It feels pretty genuine with him. So I'm actually so far connecting with him pretty well. I literally have my phone out with a calculator, and I add one every time there's like some stupid out of place one-liner. And I remember in the first opening mission, I was like 10 minutes in, and I already had 5 stupid one-liner things. But then I took a break and I came back, and the dialogue, I gave it a kind of a chance. I looked at it a little less cynical, and I kind of got into it a little bit more. It's just like, this is kind of a serious thing, and I kind of wish the characters were taking it more seriously than they are, because I kind of feel distant from it at this point. Because the world that they're setting up is really, really cool so far. Like, I'm super into the story. Like, the main driving force of me wanting to play is to see where this story is going. I know it's not as cool and looming and inspired as the Reaper storyline in the original Mass Effect, but this one is also really cool. Like, I'm super into, let's set up some colonies. It's not going great so far. Where are the Turians? Where are the Asari? Where are the other arcs? The Nexus isn't doing what it was supposed to. It was awesome. So I'm really loving how it's starting off. I'm really looking forward to how it goes. But here's the thing. I did not, in Dragon Age Inquisition, I really didn't like wandering around these big open areas as much and exploring everything, because I've said this before, I'm the kind of guy that has to do everything possible before you move on. Like, if there was a level 2, I have to completely finish level 1 before I move on to level 2. I don't want to go back. So it makes for pretty dull gameplay, especially right now, because I don't have all these side missions done. So even in Mass Effect 1, I didn't explore that much. I liked how it was a little more linear. Ironically, I liked how it was more linear. Usually I like more kind of open worldy stuff. But anyway, that's my initial thoughts on Mass Effect Andromeda. I'm going to go play it some more. I'll probably do another update when I'm like 10 hours in, just because I'm going to end on saying I freaking love Mass Effect, and I love seeing a return of the Asari and the Turians and everything. I like actually being able to see the female versions of the Turians and the Krogan. If you ask me, I don't know. It shouldn't be too big of an issue that there's so many female characters, but it's odd that I noticed like right away. And now that I'm this far in, that I'm like, wow, there is a substantial number of female characters. Like the ratio is way, way off. And I mean, if they were written well, then that's cool. But if they were just thrown in because they need a bunch of females, then I don't want that. I mean, the Turian chick. Now we see what female Turians look like. That's pretty cool. We see what female Krogan look like. That's pretty cool. But I mean, it's like I would say it's a crazy ratio. It's like there's at least 2 women to every 1 man, but there's way more than that, you know. So I feel like it's kind of worth mentioning. Anyway, that's all I have so far.